Good people of the internet, welcome back to another live signing. I'm Danny Valdez, and with us today is the original social media influencer and gossip columnist Perez Hilton for the live signing of his new book, TMI, My Life in Scandal. His new juicy memoir reveals the man behind the blog. Perez, welcome, and how are things where you are?
Thank you, and I'm reminded of Joan Rivers right now. She had this web show called In Bed with Joan. So I thought I would do my own version of that, In Bed with Perez. And also because I'm excited, but simultaneously devoid of all sleep. I am like that dead guy in Weekend at Bernie's, propping myself up. I
Yes.
got 3 hours of rest last night. It's been an overwhelming week, but wonderfully so, because I've had a lot of events and also a lot of media interviews, and that's one thing.
Yeah.
But then, because I am the social media guru that I am, if I got a great interview or a hit in a newspaper, or so and so was talking about me, a clip from a magazine, I want to let all my followers know about that. So it's
Sure.
not just the interviews, it's also the promoting everything, and on all the different platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Tumblr, TikTok, YouTube. It takes so much time.
Yeah.
The swipe ups probably are what's most annoying. That takes up the most time,
Yeah.
individual, and you can't schedule it. I have this great tool that I use for Instagram that does let me pre-schedule things, but
Sure.
there's no pre-scheduling on Instagram story. So all that
Right.
has to be done manually and live. But the response to the book has been wonderful. People
Yeah.
are enjoying it so much. And I knew they would. I knew they would. So I'm just happy to talk to you about it some
Yeah.
more, and today, and to everybody watching, and to sign all these books that I have here. I got my Sharpie ready, and I
Yeah.
am stoked.
Yeah, man. The book is absolute magic, by the way. I've read almost most of it. And in true Perez fashion, it seems to read like its own column, like it's like these juicy behind the scenes detail. Like it's like you take us to Hollywood. Is that sort of the vibe that you were feeling as you wrote it?
I mean, I spent a long time here, but I also take people to New York. I take them to Miami, where I'm from. And I love that, because when we were writing the book, I was tempted to just start in 2004 when I
Yeah.
began my career. But my co writers and my publisher were insistent that it felt important to them to also include my formative years. And I've really gotten some great feedback on those first few chapters as well. And
Yeah.
what I love about the book is that, yes, if you are somebody who is into pop culture and cares about celebrities, this is for you. But I think there's so much more here. If you are somebody who is the child of immigrants, like I am, if you are somebody who grew up, or still to this day has issues with their weight, you'll see yourself here. If you're somebody who is gay, was closeted, you'll see yourself here. If you are somebody who wants to be a social media influencer, you'll see yourself in the book. If you're an entrepreneur, a business person, there is so much to learn from, both things to do and a cautionary tale of things not to do, mistakes that I made not to repeat.
Sure.
And I hope that, most importantly, the book is a great distraction.
Yeah.
I didn't want to release it now. When it became apparent that we were in the middle of this freaking pandemic, I
Yeah.
wanted to delay it, because I wanted to be able to hug people and meet them in person and do a traditional book tour. But my publisher said, no, we think it's really smart and important to release it. We were going to release it. And the more I think about it, and now that we're here, I think, you know what? Especially because there is no end in sight to this craziness.
Sure. Yeah.
It seems like we're going to be living this way at least through the early part of next year. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think my book is a great distraction. My book is a
Yeah.
great escape and a throwback, a reminiscing of a really wild period of time that was the early 2000s. And I cover all my life through this
Yeah.
year, even. But the bulk of the book is, you know, a window of time from the early 2000s through the late 2000s, that first decade, where it was like the wild, wild west. Social media
Yeah.
was beginning and everything was so new. And all of the celebrities and myself, we were like drug addicts, and
Yeah. Wow.
attention was our drug. And we were needing that next hit of attention. So we would say and do crazy things to try to get more attention and more attention. We
Yeah.
were high all the time on attention. And attention is a really addictive drug. When
Wow.
you get it, you want more. And when
Right.
you
Right.
don't get it, you're angry. Like, why am I not getting attention? What can
Yeah.
I do to get more?
No, that's huge. Do you feel like that attention is actually important to someone's career?
Well, definitely. If you have a career in the spotlight, if you're an accountant or a banker, a school teacher, you don't need attention. But if you're a media figure, you need attention. And I go back to Joan Rivers, In Bed with Joan. That was a show that I was on.
Oh,
I was also on Joan's reality show that she had with her daughter Melissa. Joan Rivers is one of the biggest inspirations of my life because I see so much of myself in her, and I've learned so much from analyzing and studying her career. I'm
yeah.
nowhere near as talented as she is, but I am resourceful and a hustler like she was.
Yeah.
I think the fact that I have 3 kids, that's one of the best things that I ever did for my career, because
Wow.
that gave me the necessity to work. If I didn't have kids, I was blessed to do well enough that I could probably, if I was really tight with my spending, I could probably be set maybe for decades or maybe even the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But with 3 children and my mother that I financially support, and my sister who also works with me, that's 5 people's livelihoods that are
Yeah.
dependent on my ability to earn. And that's a lot of bills. Even just like the supermarket every week, I spend so much money on food every week. These
Yeah.
people are eating me out of house and home, as they
Yeah.
say. How's that expression? I don't know. But, you know, Joan had her husband die, had a failed talk show, had this, had that, things that didn't always go her way. So she had to keep reinventing, had to
Right.
keep doing new things, different things, which is something that I learned from her and that I also learned from Madonna. I've consistently been able to adapt and be malleable, be at the forefront, try this, try that. You know, 5 years ago, I began my podcast. Not everybody had a podcast 5 years ago. Everybody has a podcast now.
Yeah. Yeah.
TikTok. I joined TikTok a year and a half ago. When I joined TikTok a year and a half ago, so many people my age, even my own mother, was making fun of me, or my podcast co-host on my podcast mocking me, saying, "Why are you on TikTok? TikTok is for 12-year-olds. You're
Yeah.
wasting your time on TikTok. There's just teenagers
Sure.
on TikTok." Boom, 2020 happened and TikTok exploded. Now
Right.
everybody's on TikTok, and it helped that I was one of the first on there, because with anything in social media, it's a young person's game.
Yeah.
Sad but true. You
Sure.
know,
Sure.
and it keeps getting younger and younger. And if you're
Right.
somebody who has been around a long time, it's harder, more challenging to get that audience. But I've done it. I've got over 1 million followers on TikTok, more so now than even Instagram. And I've been on Instagram for 7 years.
Right.
It's
Right.
so crazy to me.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have a real need to work, and that need to work keeps me working, and the love of what I do keeps me waking up every morning with gratitude in my heart, and just truly happy and blessed that 16 years later I get to do my website, I get to do my podcast, I get to do my YouTube, I get to do my TikTok and all my social media, I get to release books like this one. This is my
Yeah.
4th but first autobiography. And in the spirit of true transparency, which is what I'm known for,
Sure.
I didn't want to release an autobiography.
Yeah.
I was actually working on a different book at the time. I was
Wow.
working on a book about health and wellness that I wrote a proposal for, and I shopped around, and everybody turned it down.
Really?
While I was working on my health and wellness book, my co-authors, these wonderful Swedish gentlemen, hit me up and said, do you want to do an autobiography? That's our forte. We help celebrities write their memoirs.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know. And I'm working on this health and wellness and fitness book. So I'm really passionate about that. But after I got all the doors slammed in my face, I said to myself, well, self, the universe is talking to you.
Yeah.
People don't want, a salad from you. They want McDonald's. So give them what they want. Give them McDonald's. I am not a snob. I enjoy McDonald's. I will give them McDonald's.
Wow.
This is fun. It's a quick, easy read. It's easily digestible.
Yeah.
And it's not just McDonald's. I did make sure to sprinkle throughout the book some nutritional value, so that it's not just a Big Mac and, French fries and an apple pie. You do have a lot of heart, a lot of humor, a lot of humanity, a lot of regret, mistakes, and things learned. A lot of stories that I never shared before, both about celebrities and about my life, about my family that I never shared before. Stories that my mom maybe isn't thrilled that I put in the book, but
sure.
But I gave her a heads up. She was the only person that I let know ahead of time what was going to be in the book.
Okay.
And she's not reading it.
No way.
Because she doesn't need to. Even though my mom and I had difficult times when I was young, spoiler alert, my mom lives with me now, and she's my best friend. So, there is a happy ending, and I think it's not bad knowing that there's a happy ending. I think that's actually a good thing, because it shows people that you can teach an old dog new tricks, and that somebody who maybe isn't the most accepting or isn't the most generous, is selfish, this, that, or the other, that they can overcome their own issues and their own trauma from their own upbringing. Because I do know, now that I'm older and a parent myself, my mom did the best she could.
Yeah.
Obviously loved me and continues to love me so much. So I don't hold on to bitterness or regret or anything. I have compassion for her, as I do for so many of the people that I talk about. For example, Lady Gaga and I had a very famous falling out. And for many years after she and I were no longer friends, I focused on the hurt. I was bitter and angry because it was apparent to me that she was just using me. Because when I met her, I was already very well known. I don't want to be conceited, but I was Perez Hilton, okay? Everybody all over the world knew me, and she used me to help her career. I thought she was my real friend, but that wasn't the case. And when she became this big global sensation and didn't need me anymore, she tossed me aside. That's hurtful. That's, and we were more than just friends. We were inseparable. We traveled the world together. We talked daily. We texted daily. I called her my wife. So that was like a marriage that didn't work out.
Wow.
Some people do hold on to hurt forever, but eventually I was able to let go of that. And I keep looking over because I'm in my bedroom, in bed, and I'm surrounded by platinum plaques that some of the biggest pop stars on the planet have sent me. I'll actually give you a quick tour.
I was going to ask. Yes.
We've got the Jonas Brothers behind me, sent me all of these artists. personalized. They had my name on them as thanks for
No
helping them
way.
in their journey along their career. The
Wow.
Ting Tings, Eric Hutchinson, Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, Icona Pop, Amy Winehouse, and
Whoa.
Adele.
Whoa.
I have a chapter on Amy Winehouse. I've got Adele. I'm actually a little sad. Maybe if any media is watching this by any chance, or if we can get word to her, I also played an integral part in helping launch and break Katy Perry. And I don't have a Katy Perry platinum plaque. I would love one.
Send it, people.
I know.
Man, well, and in your book too, you talked about not just, hamburgers. There's also the nutritional items. You may have even downplayed that. There is so much depth in this book. And that was something that really spoke to me. I found myself getting close to tears. I mean, the story about, and I'll let you give away the spoilers if you want, but the story about the ring that you got for your mother as a gift. I went back in time to my own childhood, my own disappointments, the question marks I had towards my own family growing up, and why was it like that? Why did you choose that when you could have chose this? I mean, so much of your book hit me like between the eyes.
Having children now, both, was very healing for me in terms of my relationship with my mom, even though it was already good by the time I had children. But it's also such a mind game now, because no matter what, if you're a good parent or a great parent, even the best parents, things for children, because they haven't experienced enough, they haven't lived as much life, things are bigger for them. Feelings are more intense.
Yeah.
So they may hold on to little things
for
years or decades that hurts them in a real way. Like gifting my mom this thing and her reaction, that was real to me. That really, truly hurt me in a major way. And that stayed with me and affected my relationship with my mother for decades.
Right.
That gets into my head like, oh my God, am I going to somehow do the same with my children? Like,
you're right.
Without even knowing it, without trying to purpose, like, because I know my mom didn't intentionally hurt me. Sure. That's just who she was, the kind of person that she was, how she responded to this gift that I gave her.
But see, Perez, you've sort of made your career out of not waiting, not asking the question, should I do this? Doing the thing that's in your heart, saying the thing that's on your mind. And as your book points out, often paying a price for that. That was another thing that really hit me, is like, man, you've got something in your heart to do. You've got something to say. Here's a guy, like, I've questioned so much and I've held so much back in my life. Here's a guy who just launches, dude. He says it, he does it, and he often pays the price for it. But he's living his thing.
Maybe there's a lesson to be learned there. Maybe I need to be more like you, Danny.
Well, but you're also the OG of gossip column writing, dude. I think you need to be you, and it's working for you. And for those of you watching, by the way, for the rest of our time, Perez is going to, of course, he's signing books. He's answering questions that you've written in. For those of you who've just tuned in and you've not yet purchased a book, you actually still have time to get an autographed copy and submit a question to Perez, which I will get on this iPad, and we can ask here live. Just click over to premiercollectibles.com/TMI to order your copy, and we'll get that to you and questions to Perez. But Perez, we're about to dive into these questions from people. I'm just curious. I'd like to ask a personal question. How did you get started in celebrity gossip blogging?
2004 was the dark ages, basically. Like, there was no social media back then.
Right.
There was no TikTok, there was no Twitter, there was no YouTube, there was no
email.
Instagram.
There was email.
I know. Well, there was. I used Hotmail or AOL Mail or
Yeah.
Hotmail, one of those two. That's
Yeah.
what you used back then. Facebook, I think, began that year, maybe in 2004, the same year that I began, but it was
Yeah.
only for college students that first year. So, and it was only by invitation, I remember. It's changed so much over the years. So I began just by discovering the world of blogging,
Mm.
and what led me to try it was how simple it looked.
Okay.
Because it looked easy to do, I said to myself, well, I can do it. This isn't that complicated. I signed up to this service called Blogspot or Blogger. I don't know if it's even around anymore. I think it might still be around.
Sure.
I remember Rosie O'Donnell had a blog on there at the time, and she would write poems. Would write in poem form.
Oh, wow.
And hers was typical of blogging back then. In 2004, almost every blogger was using their blog as an online journal. It was like a diary, very
Sure.
first person. But I didn't want to do that. When I started blogging that very first day, right away, I knew that I wanted to talk about celebrities. And I don't know what it was that was just, like, that was just what I was interested in. Like, I wasn't interested in talking about my life. I wanted to talk about the stars because so many of them are crazy, and and I just knew it would be great material.
Yeah. Yeah. Great content, right? Well, so, all right. So a lot of questions have come in from people who bought the book. Are you ready to dive into some of these?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I would say Julissa, but she's from Puerto Rico. So Julissa, she just says, only wanted to tell you that you were awesome and I love you and the kids. And Teresita, does she know you personally?
I don't think so, but my mom is a superstar.
Okay.
People love her on social media.
Okay. Cool. Ashley from Ontario, she says, I want the most interesting celebrity story you have.
I have so many. It's like hard to share.
Maybe one that just springs.
I would say probably the most interesting one that I detail in the book, and I go into real detail, was I knew Amy Winehouse and I got to spend a lot of time with her, but I chronicle one day that we spent together, an entire afternoon, hours upon hours. And I think it's a real insight into who she was as a person, which most people don't know who she really was as a person, because most people didn't get the chance to be friends with her and spend time with her. And what always, from the moment I met her, shocked me, surprised me about Amy Winehouse was what she coveted the most, which is really telling. What she wanted the most out of life, what she valued the most, was the love of a man, was a relationship. That meant more to her than performing, selling records, or anything. And she was serious about that. Like, she loved cooking for her man. She just loved being the submissive, loved being in a relationship, and loved pleasing her boyfriend that then became her husband. And yeah, she was a real special person. So the book shares that.
Yeah. Raquel from Baytown, Texas has a great question. I love you. Why are you so fabulous?
I think I'm so fabulous because I have no choice but to be me. I don't know any other way to be. I don't want to be like everybody else. I think I was conditioned, like so many of us, at a very young age to try to assimilate and blend in. I went to an all-boy Jesuit school, like I talk about in my book. We had to wear uniforms. All of the children, like 99% were Latino, and 90% of those were Cuban. And it was all about, being one of many, and they didn't celebrate individuality. And that just never sat right with me. Like, I always knew I was different, and I always knew that different was awesome and different was special. And that's one of the things that I tell young people when I talk to them. If they want to succeed in life, and it's not just young people, the same applies to anybody in their 30s or 40s or 50s. If they want to launch a business or be successful in a new endeavor, you need to find what it is inside of you that is special and share that with the world. You need to do things differently than how other people do it. And when you can find your way of doing something, what sets you apart, that is when success will come to you, and quickly.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Hey, what's up? You mind checking your internet? It's coming through a little choppy. It looked like you just got a crazy filter over your face all of a sudden from our end.
Let me see
Tech
if I close something.
Technical difficulties of Zoom interviews, people. Welcome to 2020.
Yeah. Is that better? I'm closing my browsers and hoping.
I would laugh if you said, "Oh, it's this movie I'm downloading."
No, I don't have. I just happen to have a browser open. Is that any better?
It sort of is. Yeah, much better. Wow, killer. Okay, so next, well, this one's not exactly a question from Laura. She said, but more of a statement. You have one heck of a job and a beautiful family. You're raising awesome children as a single parent. And actually, you totally rock. Don't be hard on yourself. You have overcome so much. Much love and respect. That's from Laura.
Oh, thank you.
Let's go to Kelly from Cedar Hill, Missouri. Who is your favorite celebrity? Is that possible to have? Is that like a favorite kid?
It changes. That's what I love. I mean, perhaps my all-time favorite celebrity is Madonna.
Mm.
And tied almost at a real close second is Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, love Oprah.
Yeah, I'm an atheist. I talk about Oprah in the book.
Okay. Why is Madonna your favorite celebrity?
Because Madonna's heyday was, my formative years.
Yeah.
The late 80s throughout the 90s, which when you really think of it, Madonna was on top, and Madonna's heyday was so long. She was at the top much longer than most female artists are nowadays.
Yeah.
Releasing hit after hit after hit that was on the radio. Music is the most ageist of all the professions. Somebody like Katy Perry, unfortunately, is over at 35. Like, you're done. But Madonna was able to, keep going until, I think her last hit was that song that she did for the Super Bowl a few years ago. I mean, she's just everything to me. She was a groundbreaker. She was fearless. She kept reinventing. But most importantly, she gave me what I wanted, great bops.
Yeah. Do you think that, so I feel like celebrities were bigger back then? And do you feel like that, A, do you agree? And B, do you think that's because we had less access to them? Like, we couldn't go see them in their socks in their kitchen. They were like gods on the planet. You only saw them when they were on massive stages with fake wind blowing their hair. And what's your take on that?
I think everything is relative. We still have that. I mean, look at Beyonce. She has done a phenomenal job of maintaining her legacy and creating this mystical air about her. And she's done that many ways. One of which is avoiding most media. Like, she does not give interviews, and she hasn't for many years, which is the exception to the rule.
Sure.
I mentioned Katy Perry. She came out with a new album this year. Unfortunately, didn't do very well, but she was everywhere promoting that, which is kind of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Beyonce doesn't do that. Also, like I said, it's relative because it depends on your age too. If you're a 12-year-old, to you, some of these TikTok stars are the biggest celebrities on the planet. And you are fascinated by the TikTok stars, and you know everything about them and their dating, and they're your world. Like, so it still exists. And it's quite profitable. I mean, look at what the Kardashian Jenners have been able to do.
Sure. Totally. Yeah. All right. So, Ramen from Kerman, California. How do you handle criticism? What do you do when something bothers you?
I celebrate hate.
Nice.
Which probably makes me the exception to the rule, because I would rather be disliked than forgotten or ignored.
Whoa.
And it's, 16 years into my career. So negative opinions about me from strangers don't affect me.
Right.
And also, this is something that might blow your mind. A negative comment on social media is more valuable to me than a positive comment. Here's why.
Yeah, why so?
If I upload a TikTok video of me and my children, and if somebody leaves a comment like, "You have such beautiful children, I love this video." Okay, cool, great. But if somebody says, "This video is boring, your children are ugly," that comment, then if people are scrolling and they see that negative comment, they are either inclined to defend me or gang up on me.
Wow.
Either way, that negative comment then is inviting more comments, more engagement, and I win ultimately.
This is why you're the OG, dude. This is why you're the OG, because you know how to handle that and you know the power of that.
Oh, yeah. So I don't block people that are hating on me. I let them keep hating on me, especially on TikTok now where I'm a partner. So I get paid for my videos. So feel free to leave all the negative comments that you want. I welcome them.
Cat Williams said, "If you got too many haters, send them my way." He goes, "I don't have enough." That was his mark of success, is he wanted to stack haters. So I love what you're saying. Let's go to Yolanda from White Oak, Pennsylvania. "I sort of grew up with Booker. How did you two meet and start your podcast together?"
He'll be happy to hear that.
So yes, Booker, Yolanda. Yeah.
Yolanda. Booker was the fill-in host for Carson Daly here on AMP Radio in Los Angeles. And for many years, I used to call in live every morning to AMP Radio, and I was a part of Carson's show. And I met Booker that way whenever he would fill in. And honestly, because I love being honest, I loved the rapport that I had with Booker better than the rapport I had with Carson Daly.
Okay.
No diss to Carson Daly. Yeah. I love Carson, but Booker and I just had better chemistry. Yeah. So when it was time to launch my podcast, it just was like natural. I'm like, I should do this with that guy. He's really good.
Wow. That's cool. Alexandra from Sacramento, California. "I've read you since you were page666.com. What do you miss from the early days?"
That's an easy answer, Alexandra. Thank you for sticking with me a decade plus. God. I miss that there was no social media.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Because social media now is yet another job, It is. Back in the first few years of my website, that was my only job. And I didn't have to worry about posting everywhere and doing all that stuff. And also it was just less crowded. There was less competition. It was almost easier, so to speak. Now everybody and their mother does celebrity news. Every little radio station is posting celebrity news content on their website and on their Twitter and on their Facebook. And it's like, it's almost impossible to break through.
Yeah.
But not, I still find my ways. For example, you know, I talk about in the book how in 2010, the universe spoke to me and said, you need to change how you operate. So I did. And now I'm no longer, you know, doodling inappropriate things on photos or giving people nasty nicknames and being a see you next Tuesday. But I'm still fun, fabulous, sassy, and opinionated. And just by the bold act of having an opinion that may go contrary to the norm, even if you express yourself in a polite way, that could offend and upset people.
Absolutely.
Majorly.
Absolutely.
For example, in March of this year, a few months ago, I came across this video on TikTok of Charli D'Amelio. She is the most followed person on the app. She's got over 80 million followers on TikTok.
Wow.
She is a superstar on TikTok. And she was on my For You page, and she was at the beach wearing a bikini, dancing to a song with lyrics that went, I can't take big D, but I'll suck on it, blah, 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 but I'll hop on it. And she was gyrating sexually. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what? You know, I get it. All of her friends were probably doing it too, but you know, it was the song lyrics, the her being in a bikini, the camera angle being right at her crotch.
Yeah.
So I commented on her video and I said, is this appropriate? And that's all I said.
Wow.
Is this appropriate? And for months after, April, May, and the beginning of June, it kind of stopped in June after everything was happening in America with the social uprising. People kind of forgot about me on TikTok in that sense, and they moved on. But for a solid 2+ months, Charli D'Amelio fans were leaving me death threats daily.
Gosh, are you
Daily
serious?
death threats because I dared comment on that video. Is this appropriate?
You
Well,
asked
you
the
know
question.
what?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't regret asking that. I stand by that. And maybe my one regret was in maybe not directing that at her parents. I should have maybe been more specific and been like, should her parents delete this?
Right.
Question mark. Or, you know, because I get it. She's 15. She probably saw all her friends doing it. But as a parent, I think you have an obligation to protect your children from themselves, to protect your children from the world as well. And that seemed very bizarre, odd, questionable, troubling to me.
Yeah. I have 4 kids, and they, as of this moment, don't have social media. I was like, hey man, when you got an idea to make some money and you need social media to make that money, you'll have my attention. But until then, dude, I don't know. But speaking of, you mentioned regret, and you talk a lot about regret in your book. And it was one of the things that I really appreciated because I've read memoirs before, and sometimes people talk about regret, but a lot of times in memoirs, it's like their highlight reel. And you have sort of a de-highlight reel section where I got so much out of it. And you talked about the mistakes you made in your career, money you spent, you wish you would have saved. What would be a takeaway regret that you would want the world to almost sort of not do?
A few. I mean, first, especially to young people or the parents of young people, or even somebody older. Sometimes, like me, people don't think before they speak. They don't think before they tweet. They don't think before they make a video and post it on TikTok. But that tweet from 5 years ago, that TikTok from 12 months ago could come back to hurt you and haunt you. And I And the perfect example of that, I still am suffering and have to pay the consequences for mistakes from my past.
Yeah.
I know that there are opportunities that I'm not considered for because of who I am. I know that if I was blessed to get a talk show or a sitcom or any opportunity on television, within minutes of that being announced, everybody and their mother would try to get it canceled. They would start coming out with receipts. Look at what he said 12 years ago. That
Right.
awful thing he tweeted 12 years ago. Look at what he wrote on his website 15 years ago. How dare you give this man a platform? Shame on you. Blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. It's
Right.
like we're not willing to let people evolve and grow. And so
Yeah.
many people still only see me as the old version of myself. So I've let go of that and accepted it
Yeah.
because I can't control that. I can only control how I behave, what I say and do, and how I respond to things. And the other big takeaway is with regards to money, ask yourself or remind yourself, yes, you can afford to do that, but just because you can afford to do something doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
And this whole concept of living within your means, I think we need to rephrase that and re-educate ourselves and younger folks to not just live within your means. We need to emphasize the importance of living below your means
Wow.
so that you can be saving and investing money if possible. Listen, I get it. Some people, many people are living paycheck to paycheck. But if you are super diligent with your spending and find ways, even if you're just saving $5 a month, $10 a month, and then you find ways to save a little more or earn a little more and save even more, that is so helpful. I wish I would have saved more. I wish I would have invested. I didn't even start investing until a year and a half or 2 years ago
Yeah.
because I was naive and dumb and didn't know about that. I was afraid of investing. I was afraid of it. I don't understand the stock market. It seems risky. I'd rather just keep all my money in my savings account with very little, return on the interest or whatever. But eventually, as I got older and I did my own research and I spoke to enough people, the stock market, while scary, is a lot like the housing market, but almost better. Because if you buy a house, that requires a lot of upkeep.
Yeah.
It requires maintenance. Stocks and the stock markets don't.
Yeah.
However, what it does require is patience. You need to play the long game. If you put money in the stock market and you keep it in there for 10 plus years, you will make a good amount of money on that.
Yeah. So you talk about regret in your book, but what about accomplishment? What's the accomplishment you're most proud of?
The accomplishment that I'm most proud of is that I was able to help my family, because my mom needed help. My dad died, as I talk about in the book, when I was very young, still in high school. And my mom squandered all of the insurance money after his death because she's awful with finances, something that she passed on to me. She never taught me about finances and how to balance a checkbook and to be smart with my money because she didn't know how to do those things. And she wasn't.
And you wrote about that awful car ride too of silence on your way to hear about your father and how you were even terrified to ask what's wrong.
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
I'm telling you that there was tear jerkers in there where I didn't even want to turn the page. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, sorry. It's that when you talked about that, I just remembered that story. People, there are so many good reasons to buy this book. Like beyond not only to escape some of the modern day. I mean, this is such a great, fun, easy read to escape. But if you want to dive deep from a guy who's got depth and things to say to the world, man, like, I love your book. I'm sorry. Continue.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't even know what I was saying now.
Oh, you're just talking your accomplishments and
Oh, right.
most
I'm
proud of.
proudest. My mom needed help. So I'm proud that in her time of need, because she's got a lot of health issues that she's had for a long time. She's had asthma and diabetes for a
Mm.
long time. But she was working and hated it. And she was complaining to me all the time about how it was killing her in her very dramatic fashion. This job is killing me, blah, 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 blah. So I said
Yeah.
to her, you know what? Why don't you move out to Los Angeles? And why doesn't my sister move out to Los Angeles? I need help. You guys can help me. And it became this family business. And they helped me and I helped them and we help each other. And now it's both good and bad because now there's no boundaries and I have all this pressure on my shoulders to earn a lot of money
Yeah.
because as I talk about, I wasted so much money and also not just wasted it on a fancy house and stupid decorations, but also coming up, I made so many mistakes and I got sued by so many people. I wasted millions of dollars in
Wow.
legal bills and in financial settlements that I had to pay people and blah blah blah.
Wow.
So yeah, that sucked.
Yeah.
But I am not that old yet. I'm only 42, and it's never too late to
Let's
better
go.
yourself.
Let's
It's
go.
never, it's never too late to start saving now. It's never too late to start investing now. It's never too late to try and make a better I should be a politician. It's never too late to make a better future for yourself.
Perez for Prez. What's up with that?
Maybe.
Hey, it has a ring to it, right? Well, I'd love to shift gears and ask 22 questions in 2 minutes. Are you game?
Let's do it.
All right. These don't have to be right. Uh, First thing that comes to mind, say whatever you want. Where were you born?
Miami.
Who would you want to play you in a movie?
Perez Hilton.
Yeah, you would. What was your first job?
Oh God, I worked at this government agency called the Florida Department of Health and Rehabilitative Services, HRS, which is where people would go to apply for food stamps and all of these things. And I was just working in the office there, like making copies. And I have no idea. I don't even remember how I got that job, but I did. I did that for 2 summers in between high school years.
Wow. What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is being poor.
Mm. Who makes you laugh the most?
Who makes me laugh the most? My kids.
What is the one thing you need to have in your fridge at all times?
The one thing I need to have in my fridge at all times. Um, it changes. Lately, I've been on a kombucha kick. So
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
say kombucha.
Yes. It'll wean you from Coca-Cola, which is a very good choice. Who is the most interesting person you met recently?
The most interesting person I met recently. God, I don't leave my house these days. That's a boring answer. The most interesting person I met recently. Um, no one. I haven't met anybody recently. My mom is very high risk. As I said, she's got asthma and diabetes. So
Sure.
I only leave my house once a week to go to the supermarket because they don't deliver, and to go to the PO box to pick up my mail because they
Yeah.
don't deliver either.
Yeah.
So yeah, I so am fatigued with this year. I'm
Yeah.
ready to go back to normal.
Yeah. What is your middle name?
Armando.
Perez Armando
Well, it's
Hilton.
Mario Armando Lavandeira
I know.
Jr.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve, there's so many, but maybe the one is people whom you text that just don't respond back.
Feel you, brother.
Like, even if it's somebody that I don't like she's not gonna watch this, so who cares? I had to. Well, I won't mention who, but I had to fire somebody recently, and that person still texts me like we're friends, and I'm like, I don't like you, but I don't say that. So I'll just respond back with like, it's so simple to just like hit the thumbs up on the comment on iMessage.
Right, right, dude.
So that's like just an acknowledgement that I saw it, thumbs up or whatever. But
Right.
the ghost, that's
Yep.
like that's my biggest pet peeve. Totally just ignoring a text message.
That's high on my list too. What is the last book you read?
I don't read books. I like to keep it real. If this were not my book, I wouldn't even read it. I don't have time. I don't read books. This might shock you. I don't read books. I don't watch television. I work like a beast, like a madman.
Yeah.
It's like not just the website. I create so much content every day for so many different things, from my website to my podcast to my TikToks to my social media, and I engage. It's not then just about creating the content, it's about engaging with the content, liking people's comments, responding to comments.
Yeah.
I barely have time to sleep. Last night, this morning, I got 3 hours of sleep. Wow. I had to take a nap before our signing so that I would have energy.
I know, we actually woke you up, didn't we?
Yes, I literally woke up 1 minute before our tech call.
Yeah. It was almost like you were raising your like, you know how people when they wake up in the morning, like they raise their phone up, maybe check their Instagram or whatever. It was like we like experienced that moment of you being like, hello. What is your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby is going to experience live entertainment, whether that be the theater or concerts.
Love that. What is your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure is I don't have any guilty pleasures. I love everything without feeling any shame. So if I love, if I love cheesy dance music or cheesy pop music or whatever, I love that. If I love, going to the Renaissance Fair, I love that. If I love whatever it may be, I celebrate those things. I don't even like, I think words matter. So using, cheesy guilty pleasure, I don't like using guilty pleasure. If it gives you pleasure, the only guilty pleasure, maybe I'll frame it this way. The only guilty pleasure is food, really. If I feel guilty about it because I ate something that maybe isn't the healthiest.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite guilty pleasure, like naughty food, like something sweet or potato chips or whatever. I don't have a favorite food. I just love to eat.
Do you have any hidden talents?
I'm really good on camera.
Oh, that's not hidden. That's known. Come on.
I don't have any hidden talents. I feel like if I did, people would know it by now. I'm a show off.
What color is your toothbrush?
I have a white electric toothbrush, so it's white.
What is your secret snack?
Oh, my secret snack, turkey jerky.
How do you take your coffee?
Black.
What is the last movie you saw in theaters?
God, I don't remember the last movie I saw in theater. I don't even know. I used to go to the movies regularly. I love taking my kids to the movies.
Yeah.
But actually, I remember because it was the Monday, the day before we went into lockdown in Los Angeles. So it was Monday, March the 9th, I think. And we went into lockdown at my kid's school on Tuesday, March 10th. Was it that whatever, right around those days? Let me see if I remember. Yes, Monday, March 9th. I remember. I looked at it now, my calendar.
Yeah.
Monday, March 9th, I went to go see Mulan, the Disney movie, in the theaters.
Whoa.
So I took my kids to that, and that was cool.
So cool. What's the last gift you gave?
The last gift I gave, I bought my daughter a bunch of presents because it was her birthday over the weekend, and she loved them all. If you want to watch, I made a video that I uploaded on my family YouTube channel that was of her birthday and unboxing. And she was really lucky because normally on a normal year, I am one of those weird parents that don't like their children to get all their presents at once. So I'll usually hold on to them and space them out. But because we're in the middle of a pandemic, I let her have all her presents.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Where can people find your new book?
People can buy my new book right here on livesigning.com.
Yeah.
And there, I mean, if for whatever reason you guys sell out, then you can go to perezhiltonbook.com to find other places that you can get it. I know that there have been some retailers that have sold out, which is wild. I think my publisher, you know, they're not, they're a wonderful publisher, but they're not one of the huge publishing houses. They're an independent, an indie publisher.
Yeah.
And I think they weren't expecting to sell as many copies as they have. We're already on to a second printing, and I'm so proud.
Cool. What cause is dear to your heart?
I am very passionate about any causes related to children. So the two that I'm most aligned with, that I have helped raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for, are the VH1 Save the Music Foundation, which helps to reinstate music programs in schools that have had theirs taken away, or it just helps to keep them because, you know, in many schools, they just get rid of music. Mm-hmm. My kids are blessed to be able to play instruments, multiple instruments. And then the other one is GLSEN, the Gay, Lesbian, Straight Education Network. I'm a big kid. Maybe for a long time, I was still a big kid, even when I wasn't a kid anymore. And some people would say I'm immature, but I'm also very mature. But yeah, I've always known that I wanted to have kids. And I believe, as Whitney sang, children are the future.
Yeah. What's number one on your bucket list?
I want to be able to be more selfish when I'm older, because I used to be, and I miss a lot of the things that I used to do when I was selfish, like get massages, get facials, travel the world internationally. But then when you have children, at least me, I'm not a baller. You know, I am blessed and I am able to support my family, but I'm not making crazy money. I'm a working person. I'm a working entertainer. Yeah. I'm an everyday known person. I'm not making tens of millions of dollars or even millions of dollars a year. So I'd love to travel again and go to on my bucket list are many countries that I've never been to. Like I'd love to go to Bhutan. I'd love to go to Cambodia. I'd love to go some places in Europe even that I haven't been to. I've been to many, but I haven't been to, you know, Austria. I haven't been to the Czech Republic. I'd love to just travel more. Traveling makes me so happy.
Well, that's all the time we have with the OG of celebrity gossip blogging. To order Perez's limited edition autographed book, go to premiercollectibles.com/TMI. And to be a part of the live signing experience with more of your favorite authors, follow Premier Collectibles on Instagram or Facebook. Perez, this has been so cool. And we're so grateful that you showed up for this. And from all of your friends who've tuned in, from all of us at Premier Collectibles, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, man. Take care, everybody. See ya.
Hi.
I am sitting here with the one and only Jackie Chan, global superstar, and he is signing all of these books. Are your hands tired?
No, tired, but I'm happy.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm
really,
so
really happy.
to hear that.
How do you feel?
Good. I'm excited. This is the first time I've done something like this before, a live signing.
Where do I want to go that I've never been? We're thinking about, not thinking, we're putting it in motion. I'm going to go to Indonesia on my Irresponsible tour this year. I'm excited about that. I've never been. and there's been a heavy demand for me there. So we're gonna go. We're gonna go to Indonesia, and I'm gonna make people laugh in Indonesia. That's how I roll. How do you roll? I can't make this up. Wayne, you got your Indonesia pants? I decided it about a good 3 weeks ago. You'll see it on the schedule soon, so I suggest you go get your pants for Indonesia, because you're not gonna wear them stupid pants. Where do you think Indonesia is? India. Yes, we out.
You can see that I'm signing it. This is not some machine scribbling my name. This is my actual human body scribbling my name. So, all right, there we go. First book, signed.
Biggest pet peeve? Men that talk to me with spinach in their teeth.
What can I do while at work to help lower my stress and improve my health?
One musician do you most admire?
I love you all, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.
Bye.
Much love. See ya.
See you soon, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
We'll see you around the world. Woo!
Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone here.
Bye, guys.
Say goodbye, Mary.
See you in the morning.